See, I shall talk today, but I would like to prepare your mind for a phenomenon. What is that? I am having very terrible jerks, unpredictable, when I walk. Doctors have identified this as myoclonus. I have not been able to understand what this is triggered by or from, and what is going to be the progress, if at all, of this condition. Sometimes I jerk, and I don't know whether it is the right expression, hiccup, and it produces a sound. Suppose anything like that manifests during the course of my talk, it may not stop my talking, I will continue to talk, but none of you should get unduly upset. Can I trust you? Let that phenomenon come and disappear in its own manner. I shall continue to talk. I think it will be possible. If it is not possible, then I shall stop. I hope all of us will prefer my talking and not withdrawing. Shuddho buddho vimuktaha Shruti-shikhara-giram mukhyatahat pariyabhumi yasmajjatam samastam jagadidam amrutat vyapya sarvam stito yaha yasyam sham shabhadaraihi suranaravanajairekshitam sarvametad tam bhumanam mukundam hridigatamamalam krishnameva prapadye tam bhumanam mukundam hridigatamamalam krishnameva prapadye madhya hridaya kashe sadanandamayo guruhu udetu satatam samyak swatmananda prabodhakaha. Harihi, Harihi, Harihi Om Tats Jaya Guru. As usual, we shall have 3 times jointly the Omkara recitation, the joint sound of which all of you should individually think and contemplate upon. It should pervade the entire earth, showering its benedictions on all creatures. The expansion of the mind and the spiritual intensity and vibration also, these are very important in this recitation, especially a collective one like this. Interlock your fingers and put them on your lap. Sit comfortably erect, close your eyes, open the mouth and the mind and join me. Now we shall recite the 2nd chapter sloka, where Arjuna confesses the state he was in mentally. Karpanya dosho bhagata svabhavaha
दोषोपहतः स्वभावः
पृच्छामि त्वां धर्मसम्मूढचेताः यच्छ्रेयस्याद् निश्चितं ब्रूहि तन्मे शिष्यस्तेऽहं शाधि मां त्वां प्रपन्नम् शिष्यस्तेऽहं शाधि मां त्वां प्रपन्नम् That combination is not all right, I think, that bass and tune. We are discussing the third chapter of Bhagavad Gita and we have almost come to the conclusion. We discussed primarily the 38th and 39th verse. I will recite them, all of you listen to. Dhumena vriyate vannihi yatha adarsho malena cha yatholbena avruto garbha tatha tenedam avrutam. Avrutam jnanamedena jnanino nityavairina kamarupena kaunteya dushpurena analena cha. What has Krishna concluded so far with? He says there are only two factors operating within everyone. What is that? One is wisdom, knowledge, jnana. Another is ajnana. Either you know or you are ignorant. He says this ignorance itself is handled and it starts vanishing, and as it vanishes, the jnana also arises. So he says, Avrutam jnanamedena jnanino nityavairina. The jnana in us is lying covered. For instance, every one of you says, I am, I shall, I was, I will, I have, I don't have. For every statement you have the I, because you alone are experiencing. It is your experience that you relate to in any manner whatsoever, whether it is sight, sound, smell, taste or touch, or whether it is a thought or an emotion, a memory, a reasoning, a knowledge, doubt, anything. It is all related to the I. I is the subject part of the whole proposition. So it is all jnana, jnana and jnana. But that jnana is not the proper wisdom or the full measure wisdom. So if it is not jnana, then what else it is? It is ajnana. Ajnanena avrutam jnanam. Every time the knowledge is enveloped by ignorance. It is the ignorance that we have to remove. How will you remove? Oh, ignorance, go away from my mind. Is that the way? No. You practice knowledge, practice knowledge, practice knowledge. As your knowledge goes on increasing, ignorance will start reducing. So you are not to fight with the ignorance. On the other hand, you are to attempt to know. Knowledge is a property of the intelligence. Being so, you must exercise the intelligence, employ the intelligence. And what is the best way? Setting up questions and enquiries, then pursuing them. Newton was pursuing the point, why is the apple falling from the tree? All apples are falling. Why? Is there a relationship in the whole falling process? It is somewhere on the branch of the apple tree, and every apple falls towards the earth. So all are falling parallelly. So there seems to be a force acting on the apple, and it is acting on everyone in an equal measure. So he went on inquiring, thinking, investigating, probing, exploring, and what not. Finally, after a year's time, he found the force of gravity of the earth. You are all misestimating your inner potential. Everyone is misestimating. You may be a doctorate holder, or you may have postdoctorate specializations. But even then you are ignorant about the I in you. You are not fully aware of the potential, immense potential of the human intelligence, equally of the mind. This is an altogether different subject. Our personality is a composite. In the composite personality, the body and the senses are only external. And mind you, they are absolutely inert, insentient. Then how is it that you are living, you are moving? Because the body is animated by the inner personality consisting of mind, intelligence and ego. Are the doctors aware of this? Are the physiotherapists aware of it? If so, have they taken any kind of an effort or a trouble in order to understand, let me understand that panorama called the mind. It seems to be inside the body. The body is very limited. So what will be the measure of the mind's expanse? How wide and how broad it will be? Normally our feeling is it has to be inside the body, so therefore it will be smaller than the body. If it is smaller, how is it that you are seeing a wide expanse, much greater than what the body has? The entire world is reflected in the mind, and only by the mind you know that there is a world. The mind animates the body, then it employs the eyes and the other organs, then start perceiving seemingly external objects. Mark my word, seemingly. Even this external perception is not made by the eye or the other sensory organs. The mind employs these organs, and whenever light rays touch the cornea, electrical pulses are sent to the brain, and the experience and knowledge are interpreted and displayed by the intelligence, by the brain. So you tell me, is it sensory? No. It is not sensory. Mind employing the senses makes an imprint in itself. That imprint is mind born, it is of the mind, in the mind, by the mind, and it is mental. You never see an object at all. You only cognize an imprint made by the mind through the senses, and the imprints are all in the mind, they are mind products. So what is the potential of the mind? What is the magnificence of the mind? What is the expanse of the mind? What are the powers of the mind? Has anybody probed into it? In India we have done that alone. Right from the beginning. We found our mind, intelligence, ego and the soul dearer to us than even the body and the senses. This is a country where decades and decades, maybe centuries were spent on so many Rigvedic mantras, chanting, homa, havan and the like. Ultimately the performers found that all that we have done is only to please ourselves. We have offered so many materials in fire. All of them have been reduced to ashes. That is because of the blazing power, the digestive power of the fire. But whether the offerings have reached to to whom they were addressed, no answer. I have performed, that's all. Has my performance reached where I wanted it to go? No answer. So they got dejected. They left the whole holy acts and ceremonies. They closed their eyes, sat in seclusion, contemplated upon what they wanted to know, and the answers started arising like beautiful full moon. This is a country where introspection has triumphed maximum. We believe in the powers of the mind, the powers of the intelligence, the power of our ego. For us, the body is nothing compared to the mind, intelligence, and ego. It's all made up of matter. Our food is matter, water is matter, air also is matter. It consists of only matter, and therefore it is insentient. It cannot produce an experience or knowledge. Being so, how much can we pamper it? How much can we depend upon it? Can it give us the final goal we are looking for? We are moving towards. The body can do nothing, my dear souls. Everything is done by the mind. And within the body there are only two factors, as I said, knowledge and ignorance. Ignorance is the first factor. You have to recognize it and start removing it. This is what a child does when he opens his eyes and sees. He sees, and pictures are formed in the mind. The knowledge process starts working. Comparing and contrasting go on, and knowledge also gets evolved. The whole thing is in the mind. Why should we be troubled by desire, passion? Why? If it is a part of human life, let it fulfill its function in a very creditable, adorable, and praiseworthy manner. Why should it overcome us? Either a desire or a passion. Keeping everything within our body, including the so-called infinitely potent soul, can I say, I was subjected to passion, I was subjected to desire, I was subjected to greed? Are you not ashamed to say that? A product that our mind evolved, does not the mind have the power to dissolve it? All the thoughts remain in the mind for a while and they subside in the same mind. Is there any thought that lasts for an hour, 2, 3, 4, 1 month, 1 year, 1 decade? Millions and trillions of thoughts have been produced by the mind. None of them is surviving. Everything lasted only for seconds. Where are all the thoughts produced if they are really there? None of them is there. So where are they produced? It's a matter of doubt. Thought itself is an illusory creation. It's not a factual creation. It gets born, it also subsides. Where from is it born and where is it subsiding? If you are not able to look into it, can I call you a right, intelligent, noble human? What nonsense is this? Keeping the greatest treasure within our mortal body, we are neglecting the treasure and we are running after things unknowingly, helter-skelter, hither, thither. Better read Bhagavad Gita. Understand what Krishna says. Krishna said to Arjuna, and that too right in the midst of Kurukshetra battlefield, before the commencement of the war. But for this instruction and wisdom Krishna imparted to Arjuna, Arjuna would not have been able to stand from where he sat on the chariot itself. He could not have got up. He could not have taken up his Gandiva and cure. This conversation alone gave him the power. We will continue the discussion. Indriyani mano buddhi asyadhishtana muchyade edair vimohayatyesha jnanamavritya dehinam. Now recite following me. Indriyani mano buddhi.
Indriyani mano buddhi. buddhihi
asyadhisthanamuchyate
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 etairvimohayatyesha
etairvimohayatyesha
jnanamavritya dehinam.
jnanamavritya dehinam.
Follow it well. This is the one verse that explains to you all the trouble that you suffer from in the hands of your mind and intelligence, apparently in the context of the world. Indriyani mano buddhihi asya adhisthana muchyate. The adhisthana, the seat, the support for the so-called desire, kama, including passion. Where is it seated? Is it seated in the whole of your personality? No, not at all. It is not devouring the whole of your personality. Indriyani, mano, buddhihi, asya adhishthanam. The seat and the support for passion, desire, greed, etc., it is actually three. One is the senses, indriyani. The next is mind, inside, the non-bodily element called mind. Buddhi, intelligence. In the inner personality of man, there are only three factors. One is mind, another is intelligence, the third is ego. Now, out of these three, Krishna says, indriyani mano buddhi. Certainly, senses are the instruments for all interactions. Like leg is present in walking, standing, sitting, lying. Senses are there in all interactions. But the senses are not alone working. They are empowered to work, employed to work by the mind. So without the mind there is no sensory interaction at all. So this kama is first of all present in the senses, indriyani. Furthermore, it is equally present and prevailing in manas and also buddhi. Then we have the ego and finally the self. What is that self? Don't look for it. Don't search for it. Don't be doubtful about it. The self is no other than what you denote by the term I. I am, I was, I shall be. I speak, I hear, I think, I sleep, I slept. I sometimes dream. I am wakeful regularly for 16 or 17 hours a day. See, in everything you have the I. I is the one subject, eternal subject in the whole of the world and in the whole of one's own life. All the other things are objects. Subject is only one. Objects are infinite. So the I is there. Indriyani mano buddhi. So the passion or kama, desire, is actually resting on senses, mind and buddhi. Asya adhisthana muchyade. Edair vimohayatyesha jnanam avritya dehinam. Jnanam avritya etaihi dehinam vimohayati eva. So this ajnana is covering up the whole jnana. It covers up the whole jnana, seeking help from the senses, mind and intelligence. The intelligence is not always arguing in the right way, benedictory way. Sometimes it argues in the wrong way also. There are instances when very bad criminal instances are there, like mass raping. There are advocates who argue for the rapists also. Everybody knows that they have done it and they have done very bad. Even then advocates are available to argue for them. And what is the object of their argument? To get them released. So you can understand the power of the intelligence. It is like a sharp knife. It can cut your finger also, not only vegetables. You have to rightly use it. It has got a good handle which saves you. So here, Indriyani manobuddhihi asyadhishtanam uchyade. Understand that the passion is prevailing, first of all, to begin with, from the point of action and suffering, senses, then the mind, then the intelligence. Then how to escape it? You have two more factors, the ego, and then finally the I, the self. In that level, the passion cannot reach. It does not go there also. So you are put into trouble only by the senses, mind and intelligence. Senses, mind and intelligence. But are you only these? Not at all. Recognize it first. I am not alone the senses, the body. Further, I am not alone the mind. I am not alone the intelligence. I am not senses, mind and intelligence alone. An infinite part of my personality is there beyond the intelligence. And the I is infinite itself, super infinity. Just imagine the infinite world is reflected within you in the mind itself. And mind is an expression, a functional note of the self. Just see, that mind is showing you the world. Not the eyes, not the ears, not the nose, not the skin, nor the tongue. So what are you containing within yourself? You contain something far greater than the entire world. You appear to be an individual with a small body and altogether 10 sensory organs, then the mind, intelligence and ego. But this personality of yours is far greater than the infinite world. Indriyani manobuddhihi asyadhishtanam uchyade. So don't ask the question, can anybody overcome, subdue, or at least integrate his passion? Yes, yes, yes. There is a scientific approach, a rational approach for it. Nothing is there unconquerable, unsubduable, especially within ourselves and in our own body. Edair vimohayatyesha jnanamavritya dehinam. Through these three, it deludes the individual by enveloping wisdom. The individual who resides in the body, his wisdom is enveloped by ignorance. And by that envelopment, it covers, it obstructs the jnana, and because the jnana is obstructed, he gets into delusion. I don't know whether you have understood what I said. Where can you find such a discussion in the whole world? Your desire, that desiring process, the pursuit following it, the outcome it brings, all of them are not fully in your personality. They are first in the senses, next in the mind, still next in the intelligence. But go beyond, the I is there, the ego is there. Compared to the intelligence, mind and senses, what is the measure, magnitude and magnificence of the soul? That also you contain. If the senses, intelligence and mind can delude you, the self can de-delude you to any extent. It's a question of whether you recognize its presence and existence, then its potential and magnitude. Never say, I am held by my passion. As you are held by your passion, you can be released also from passion. The choice is to be made by you. Will you continue to be under the clutches of passion and greed, Or do you like to be a good, noble and gentle man or gentle woman? Indriyani mano buddhi asyadhishtana muchyade edair vimohayatyesha. It is through these three that one is get deluded. Tasmat tvam indriyanyadau niyamya bharatarshava papmanam prajahihyenam jnana vijnana nashanam. Tasmat tvam indriyanyadau. Recite. Tasmat tvam indriyanyadau.
Tasmat tvam indriyanyadau.
Niyamya bharatarshava.
Niyamya bharatarshava.
Papmanam prajahihyenam.
Papmanam prajahihyenam.
Jnana vijnana nashanam.
Jnana vijnana nashanam.
Therefore you have to understand. Wherefore? Because your delusion occurs only when the knowledge in you is enveloped, is circumscribed by. What are the factors? Senses, mind and intelligence. If the mind is pure, you will have no trouble. If the intelligence is clear seeing, you will have no trouble. Then the senses will not be dominant at all. They have no independence in their functioning at all. They have to be animated by the mind, employed by the mind. If the mind part is not there, the senses cannot do anything at all. So understanding, our body is fully matter. Can matter produce any experience? Can it act by itself, even move? Tasmad, therefore, tvam, you, indriyanyadav niyamya. First of all, you regulate your senses. Don't say whether I can. You can. The question is whether you will, whether you wish, whether you want. Indriyanyadav niyamya. Indriyanyadav niyamya. First of all, your regulation should be over the senses. You have eyes to see. See liberally. But see in such a manner that the sights will not overpower you. Any sight whatsoever. You see some things, not always to possess them. You see some things, not to get attracted and deluded by it. You must have stability and selfness in you. So use your eyes to see, understand, compare, contrast, etc. In the process, there is no question of being deluded by what you see. You want to live. What do you want for that? You first of all want food and nourishment. Then a place to stay, then dress to put on the body. Have all of them. There is no difficulty. If you want to read books, read books. Get educated, okay. Have a skill, employ it. Everything you can do. But where is the question of passion and greed coming here? Don't you think any kind of a greed is dangerous and harmful to the possessor? Even desire is not necessary. We should work on our needs. And the needs also should be moderate. Why should we desire? I don't understand at all. If you want a chair, have a chair. If you want to have a table, have one table also. How many cots you can sleep at one time on? For how many stomachs will you eat? Don't you think your requirement is very small? How much of food do you want? So take to everything in a cautious and moderate manner. Afterwards you will find you become so beautifully regulated that you don't have to exert anything at all to become a good, noble and grand person. Tasmatvam indriyanyadav niyamya bharatarshava. The entire Gita is emphasizing only on one point. What is that? Moderation of the senses, control of the senses, indriya nigraha. Vashehi yasyendriyani tasya prajna pradishtida. Krishna said in the 2nd chapter. Who has got the senses under his control and regulation, he is a sthita prajna, he is a sthitadhi. So the proof of the pudding is sensory regulation. Tasmat tvam indriyanyadav niyamya bharadarshabha. The word niyamya has got a special meaning. It is regulating them, not controlling them, subduing them, pressing them down. Eyes, don't see at all. Ears, don't hear. It's not that. Hear well, beautifully. See also, gracefully. But while seeing, you should not be overpowered by greed. Your vision should be so gentle and beautiful that everybody will like to see your face and eyes. Not that you cannot see everybody in full. Everybody you see in full. The moment you see, why should there be an attraction or a repulsion? So many things are there. Whatever you see, if you are drawn to, you will have to extract them and bring them to you. Will the owners allow? You can live in your house. You cannot constantly say, the neighbor house also I must have. That is a wrong desire. I don't think it is necessary. After all, you want joy and contentment in life. Joy and contentment are both emotional. As an emotion, both belong to the mind. So it is the mind that generates contentment. It can become contented with nothing, but it can become totally discontent with many things to its credit. Once you understand the secret of joy, the source of joy, that your own mind, then refine and reform the mind in such a manner that you will always have joy to your credit. That is what we sannyasins and the others are given to. We also employ our senses, the eyes, ears, nose, tongue and skin. But whenever these sensations are produced, no sensation overtakes us. It is my ways, my eyes. The eyes, if at all, are there only for me to see. They are not seeing for themselves. They are to subserve me. They are not to overrule me. Is it not very natural for a rational man, a noble man, to think like this? Tasmatvam indriyanyadav niyamya. Always be regulating your senses. See, if you use too much of your eyes, the eyes will become fatigued. See moderately. Even while reading, you know how you should read. Macaulay, it is said, he used to close and open his eyes several times in a second. You should not be staring. Not at all. Whenever the vision is not clear, go on blinking like this. So our eyes are very beautiful. They are revealing quite a lot for us. We require that revelation, all the sights and colors and shapes, etc. But to associate these objects in such a manner that every time we get into a greed and possessiveness, that is a dangerous aspect. And is it necessary? Will it help in the long run? Even continuous seeing is bad for the eyes. Sarvendriyanam jarayanti tejaha. As Nachiketa puts it in Kathopanishad. Whenever we employ our senses, what takes place is a corrosion of their power. Corrosion. So the objects are corrosive so far as the senses are concerned. Have this knowledge constantly with you as a guidance. Let knowledge influence the working of the mind. And that mind, let it influence the senses. Everything should come from within, not from without. Only when you are there, body is there. Only when the body is there, senses are there. Only when the senses are there, the mind can employ them and interact with the world of objects. So you tell me from where the whole process starts. Is it that my vision of the object starts from the objects? No. My vision of the objects starts from the mind. Mind employs the eyes and looks in the direction where the objects are. So the whole process is inner. And its source is within. If all sensory interactions are rooted within you in the mind, and the mind is guided by the intelligence as it is supposed to, then employing the senses, why should there be any negative effect at all? Be a good man, a wise man, a noble man, a gentle man, a graceful person, and a defied person. Are we not meant for that? All the qualities that we are looking for, they are not physical. Our body should be well nourished, it should be healthy. You must take exercises, get free air, good oxygen, etc. These are the requirement of the body. But all the qualities that we are looking for, they are relating to the mind and intelligence. Any quality you say, efficiency, dedication, commitment, exclusiveness, accountability, sincerity, justifiability, any quality that you take for people working in any area, even the corporate world, all these qualities are belonging to the inner personality. So the enrichment takes place in the mind and the intelligence. So all these shastras are, when Arjuna was completely overpowered by fear, delusion, doubt and anxiety, what did Krishna do? Krishna only spoke to him. Arjuna only heard him. Whatever he heard, he understood. He absorbed and assimilated. And the delusion went away. He took back his weapons, fought gloriously for 18 days and won the war. So the treatment was to the body and senses or to the mind and intelligence. For everything in the world, the factors that count are the mind and the intelligence. How much of enrichment, elevation, enlightenment, expansion, harmony, integrity, integration can you provide to the mind and the intelligence? That is the one question. Here what is taking place? Krishna's intelligence is delivering messages to the intelligence of Arjuna. And the result is instantaneous. Tasmat tvam indriyanyadau niyamya bharatarshabha papmanam prajahihyenam jnana vijnana nashanam papmanam prajahi. See, Arjuna is a Kshatriya. He has come to kill the opponents. So Krishna uses a Kshatriya language, a Kshatriya phrase, exhortation here. Kill this enemy, he says. Jnana vijnana nashanam. This enemy which or who destroys your knowledge and superior knowledge, namely the knowledge of the self. This ignorance and passion are going to kill you. Jnana vijnana nashanam. Papmanam. They are extremely sinful. See the adjectives he uses. Papmanam, greatly sinful. Enam, jnana vijnana nashanam. He is destroying your knowledge and greater knowledge. Both he destroys. Once you understand that he is a destroyer, you can easily take your sword and cut off his neck. So the language of a Kshatriya is used here. Krishna also was a Kshatriya. Tasmat tvam indriyanyadau niyamya bharatarshabha papmanam pratyahihyenam jnana vijnana nashanam. So don't go on looking here, there, above and below. Understand the whole process is working within the body. Senses, mind and intelligence. Now senses cannot work independently. So the sole focus in our life should be mind. And the mind should be allied to the intelligence. Intelligence should be given to constant pursuit of discrimination. And with discrimination and discretion, it should understand the good and bad of things, and the knowledge should be transmitted to the mind until it is empowered by it. And such an empowered mind should regulate the senses and live in this world, making his own life as well as the world beautiful, excellently so. Everyone's life should become an ornament to the society. Every interaction, as I always say, should be enriching to the performer, to the individual, as well as enriching to the society at large. When you are good, the society has a good man, a good person. A good person, everybody will like. Everybody, even enemies will like. Why did Duryodhana foster utter hatred to Bhima? Because he was greater. Why Karna was always against Arjuna? Because he was great. I think greatness is appreciated by everybody. Goodness. Tasmat tvam indriyanyadav niyamya bharatarshabha Papmanam prajahihyenam jnana vijnana nashanam. Did the people recite this verse? Now we go to the next verse. According to me, this verse which we are going to recite is perhaps the paramount statement in Bhagavad Gita. It provides you a beautiful analysis, a summary of your own personality. My dear men and women, you are born, you have become adults, you are moving about. Maybe you have families, but do you have an assessment of what you are? You only see your body. You don't know how powerful and potent it is. You use your sensory organs, but you do not know how great they are. What is the position of the mind with reference to the senses and the objects? And what about the intelligence? Is there anything beyond and above the intelligence? If so, what it is? How potent it should be? It should be. Have you ever reflected upon your own personality? Even Arjuna had not. But Krishna makes him reflect upon the whole subject. This is how Bhoomananda Swami also makes you reflect. You should reflect. Reflect. Ruminate over whatever you have heard. I am not speaking about anything else. I am speaking about yourself, each of you, as a person, as a personality complex, carrying the external gross body and the internal personality. Indriyani paranyahu indriyebhya param manah manasastu para buddhihi yo buddhe paradastu saha. You know, I started speaking about this verse in my own manner, and the outcome has been tremendous. Tremendous. But this is a verse nobody speaks about. I find the whole of Bhagavad Gita is centered on this one particular verse. Recite. Indriyani paranyahu.
Indriyani paranyahu.
Indriyebhya param manah.
इन्द्रियेभ्यः परं मनः
मनसस्तु परा बुद्धिः
मनसस्तु परा बुद्धिः
यो बुद्धेः परतस्तु सः
यो बुद्धेः परतस्तु सः.
Can you show the PowerPoint? Is it possible? Pranadi?
It will take time, Swamiji.
As I go on explaining, it will take time. Within that period, can you show?
Let me try.
See, here is a beautiful equation provided by Krishna. Remember the occasion of his delivery. To whom was he speaking? What for he was speaking? How much time did he have to revive Arjuna? All these you should remember. Indriyani paranyahuhu. Our life is interactional. So many times I have said it. Interaction starts just at the moment we wake up. First of all, we look at the roof. We are lying on our back. Maybe then you look at the floor or wall. Then you go to the toilet. Interactions start. Tell me, where are these interactions? These interactions are in and by the senses. Interactions means sensory interactions. Senses will interact with whom? With sensory objects. Who are interacting? The senses. So the interacting senses will determine the objects. We have five sensory organs. We have the eyes, ears, nose, tongue and skin. Because we have five sensory organs, the entire world objects, however infinite they are, the senses make them only five. Only five. Either they are colors and shapes, sights, or they are sounds, or they are smells, or they are tastes, or they are touches. Tell me whether there is any other object at all? Now you tell me. The very existence of the world and identifying the world, don't you think these are determined and made completely by the senses? If we had no senses, would there have been any objects at all? We are the people who interact and we say these are there. The senses alone create the sensations. The objects are inert. The senses also are inert, I said. But the senses are animated by the mind. But the objects are not animated so. So the earth will not see us. We are trampling and traveling on the earth. Do you think the earth knows it? You place a bundle of gold on the donkey, and the donkey will know only the weight of the material. The value is known by man. Similarly, you will find so many people are traveling on the earth. The earth only feels, perhaps, if at all, the impact of the weight. But the earth doesn't know whether it is an animal or a bird or a human or something else. We are the people who say there is earth, there is water, there are oceans. So the entire sensation depends upon us, the entire sensory activity. That is why the senses being five, the objects in the world are also five. Either they are sights, or they are sounds, or smells, or tastes, or touches. Being so, I ask you a question. In the whole process of interaction, the senses, objects. So, first of all objects, then senses, then mind, then the intelligence. Tell me, are senses superior to the objects or objects superior to the senses? We are interacting for 16 or 17 hours every day after waking up. Only from sleep we wake up. And when we wake up, interaction commences. And it ceases to be till we go to sleep. So all our interactions are between two sleeps. In the interactions, the interacting individual remains the same. Only objects are variable. None of the objects is sentient. They cannot see us. The eyes alone can see. The eyes can see as well as not see. I see an object, I close my eyes. I will not see. Any sensory interaction, how much great and powerful it is, we can shut our senses. This power, the Panchabhutas do not have. So, Indriyani paranyahuhu Indriyebhya parammanah manasastu parabuddhi. Indriyani, senses, parani ahuhu. Compared in conjunction with the objects of the world, the senses are parani, powerful. From there. Just so. How can I give a commentary then? Do you have the torch? Can you project it in this? And can it be seen there? Huh? The world may be extensive. It may consist of infinite objects. All of them are Panchabhutas and Panchabhautik. In front of widely spread world and objects, our small eyes, they are superior. Who will tell you this, my dear souls? Who will tell you this fact, this reality about your life, your own body and the senses? Indriyani parani ahuhu. Krishna says, the senses are said to be superior to the objects. The senses are said to be superior to the objects. He does not claim, I say it. It was already the view and appraisement of our people right from the beginning of our culture and civilization. Right from the Vedic and the Upanishadic stage. We have understood that our senses are superior to the objects of the world. The superiority starts from the sensory level. In our whole personality, there is no level which is not superior to the world surrounding us. Indriyani paranyahuhu. Indriyebhyah param manaha. Bah. The mind which is internal, senses are seated in the external gross body. The mind is inside the body. That inner mind is superior to the senses. Indriyebhya param manaha. Manasastu para buddhihi. Manasastu para buddhihi. Superior to the mind is the intelligence. Are you following me? This is an assessment about your own personality of each of you. You are having a personality, a body. In the body, senses are the one which interacts with the objects, and those senses are superior to the objects. and she will project it from there.
She is projecting into them, but you have to change here for you to see.
No, I wanted that light. No, I will do it with this. Indriyani paranyahu indriyebhya param manaha. Superior to the senses is the mind. Manasastu parabuddhi. Superior to the mind is the intelligence. Yo buddhe paradastu saha. What is still superior to the intelligence is that I. That most superior factor that one can think of. Tell me, are not all these in your personality? The senses which are superior to the objects, then mind certainly they are superior to senses, buddhi is still superior to the mind, and finally the I, still superior most. Now holding such a body, such a personality, are you to be a slave of the world or are you to be a master of the world? This is my question before you. Answer me, my dear intelligent listeners, viewers. I cannot show you. Generally I project it on a screen and I have the light by which I show. Look at this diagram that is shown before you. We have 5 senses. Each has its own range. Eye has got the maximum range. If you place a sizable object before the naked eye, it can see it. So what is the range of perception the eye has? And these eyes are shaped and produced by the fetus in the mother's womb, helped by none, guided by none, assisted by none. The mother was having her food for her stomach, that's all. She did not do anything for the sake of the fetus. So the fetus started striving itself and it produced a full body in the course of 6 or 7 or 8 months. And when the body is born, the little body has eyes, and these eyes have the power to perceive up to infinite distance. So what should be the inlying power in the body, I am asking you? Are we finite like the body or are we infinite within the body? Are you the inner being or are you the material inert body? You should answer me. Understand the body is there. I don't deny it. None can deny it. But the body depends upon the inner personality for its existence, for its activity, for its interaction and interactional outcomes, everything whatsoever. So we have 5 senses. We interact with the world of objects with the 5 senses. And we go to the mind. Our mind compared to the head, brain center is here inside. Brain centers of all the senses are here, above the eyebrow. Now superior to that is the mind. Mind is not part of the body. It is associated with the body. It is associated with the body. That mind is far bigger than the mind, than the body. And still superior is the intelligence. You will find that each circle is bigger. The first circle representing the head, the second mind, the third intelligence, and still superior is the soul. We cannot show it. It is so broad, so big. Manasastu parabuddhihi yo buddhehe paradastu saha. Still superior to the intelligence is what you call the I, the self. with everything in your personality superior to the objects of the world, superior to the objective world, why are you pleading? I am helpless, I am poor, I have nothing. Does it become of a good human to say like this, to plead like this? You may have nothing from the world, still you are full with the soul. When are you becoming a beggar? As air is there within your body, mind is there within the body, intelligence is there within the body, and the soul also is definitely present. With all these factors superior to the world, how dare you say, I am a beggar? Get rid of this feeling of inferiority. It is sheer ignorance that makes you poor, that makes you impoverished in your mind. It's all mental and intellectual poverty, constriction. Make them function properly. Let the mind think well, broadly. Let the intelligence introspect over matters. And psychologically, be strong. Be strong. Be assimilative. Be flexible. Always have an integral outlook. You must be able to integrate with you all kinds of inputs that come from the world. You may call it's a worldly input. None of the objects in this world enters your within. They only remain outside. The senses grasp everything, remaining where they are. In order to catch a sound, does the ear travel? No. Do the eyes journey in order to catch any distant object? Where are the stars and where are you? The same eyes which see the rock or the bare earth below, 6 feet below, the same eyes are focusing on the stars and they are able to perceive them. What is the power of the eye then? If in our body such an infinitely potent eye is there, what should be the potential in the source level? Why don't you think? This is a knowledge to be unraveled by the intelligence through introspection, inquiry, investigation. Yo buddhehe paradastu saha. So senses are superior, mind is superior, intelligence is superior, and the soul is most superior. So what is there inferior in you then to the world? By your very birth, you are superior to the world. I am very sorry that there is none to understand and speak in this manner. Whatever poverty you have, is actually the poverty of your mind, of your intelligence, of your ego. Spend at least 20 minutes every day sitting in a place, closing your eyes, not thinking of anything, but only observing the mind processes. Never follow a thought. Never fear anything that the mind produces. Never be allured or resented by anything. Just observe. Suppose I am talking to you. I observe the movements of your head. How much you close and open your eyes. How much you vibrate or move. I don't interfere in that. In the same manner, you should look at the mind. You should look at the mind and interfere. No interference there. Only observe what the mind produces. If it does not do anything, observe that silence. If it produces various thoughts, never say, these thoughts were good, they were frightening. Nothing like that. You are only to observe. It is a new training. Virtually it is a kind of meditation. But I don't call it a meditation. I only call it a process of observance. Observation. 20 minutes you spend like that every day. Altogether you are awake for 1020 minutes, say 16 hours a day. Out of which 20 minutes you use. How much time you spend on your body? When I calculate, I find it is anything up to 2 to 2.5 hours to 10 nourish, to feed, clothe, bathe and what not. Correspondingly, how much time do you spend to nourish your inner personality? Can anybody say, I am doing this? And particularly in an understanding manner. Indriyani paranyahu indriyebhya param manah manasastu para buddhi yo buddhehe paradastu saha. I shall stop now. Luckily I did not have any trouble, I am very happy. I thank my body, I thank my senses. In Delhi, I was talking to Dr. Rupa. She came particularly to see me and discuss many things. During the course of the talk, she was telling me, we should encourage our muscles. We should take very good exercises and ask them to cooperate, show their benefits, thank them, encourage them. Tell them you are very happy with them. Are they not happy? Ask. See, this kind of a communication with our own body is extremely good. Nobody knows about it. 490 odd muscles are there in our body. What are you saying? And all of them are supposed to be exercised. But normally in the day's activity, this does not take place. That is why special exercises are necessary. Food and nourishment moderately, not too much. Don't load the stomach. And exercises reasonably. I take generally 55 exercises a day, including walking. Some of the exercises are very, very rigorous in nature. So when I take exercises, I find my body is quite flexible, very flexible. Now because of my subtle fracture which could not be discovered by an X-ray, only by an MRI, I have not been walking at all, placing my feet. I was on the wheelchair for more than 1 month. I carry the bandage, crepe bandage, for another 5 days more, 6 weeks. So in order to avoid touching the floor, I started traveling, moving in the wheelchair. As a result of which I feel my exercises I could not take, so I started taking exercises sitting. Sitting I cannot take all of them. I cannot stand, I cannot lie. So whenever you don't use the muscles, they get wasted. So a successful man, he should always nourish the body, nourish the mind, intelligence and ego also. For the body exercises and for the mind exercises. The exercise which I told you. Sit in a place ceremonially, religiously, taking a special asana for the purpose. Sit there, close your eyes, interlock your fingers and put them on your lap, and then observe your mind process. Mind process. Never interfere. Allow the mind to do whatever it likes. Some new memory may come. Don't be surprised. Some bad memories may rise. Don't be afraid. Your role is only to observe. Nothing should transpire without your then and there observing it and knowing it. So I want you to be an observer of the entire mind process. And let me know what you feel after about 4, 5, 6 days or 7 days. Okay, let me stop. So all the news has been laid before you. Tomorrow Ma will be leaving for Dakshin Khanda. On 18th will be a very, very important day, very sublime and significant, holy for all of us. A foundation stone or the foundation stone will be laid by Ma, marking the construction. Yes, in a way it is a reconstruction of Baba's holy abode. There is a lot of importance attached to this. I don't know how things are going to take shape. My intention is that the abode should be available to the public, particularly to the seeking community, who would find it very inspiring to know about Baba and his life, where he did his solitary tapasya for quite a number of decades. I don't now tell you again, I have spoken on different occasions. It's almost impossible to find a person like Baba. Absolutely sedentary. Whenever I have seen him, he has always spent most of the day hours on his head, Shirshasana. Otherwise, he would be playing sitar or playing his harmonium and singing. These are the only activities I have found in him. To find such a person given to only these, is it possible? How much of inner joy he must have been deriving throughout the day by this sedentariness which he opted for. He was so much on his head that when he was walking, I found the feet were almost shaking, because very seldom he stood and walked, mostly on the head, otherwise he was sitting or lying. Can you imagine? What cannot be done with a properly resolved and dedicated mind? The ascetic life involved in the whole process is something to be imagined in beautiful detail. Now we are trying to create something to commemorate the holy abode where Baba was living. That place was handed over to us only recently, 1 or 2 years back, and COVID also interfered. I think it is something very, very holy for us, and gradually it will be holy for many more people. I always say one sentence: personal stories are the prevailing influence in mankind, in humanity, as Americans want us to say. Personal stories are the prevailing influence for humanity. So the personal story of Baba is also going to be a living influence in our society in perpetuating the great and hoary culture of ours. Our national flag itself has got that orange color on top. That ochre color. What does it indicate? Even then, though many other things relevant were not done, could not be done, refused to be done, they did one good thing. They took the ochre color, the color of fire, for their national flag and put it on top. Everything in this country, so far as we nationals are concerned, it is revolving around asceticism, around renunciation. Ultimately, we renounce our body at the end of our life. Nobody is preserving it. Even the most dear ones will not preserve the dead body of anybody dear to them. Nobody knows when we were born. Nobody knows whether we were born. Do you know your birth? Will you ever know your death? This is what others say. We don't say, I was born. We don't say, I died. We are immortal. We are unborn. And we are undying. These are facts. Facts of the living life. It is This fact, which is the foundation on which the whole culture and civilization of our country have evolved. And Baba was one who represents it in the most exemplary manner. Can a man be so simple and so humble and so great? If one goes into his history, you will find these are the reactions that will sprout in any good and noble thinker, enquirer. Okay. Samvedya varjitamanuttamamekamahadyam samvitpadam vigalanam kalayan mahatman hridyeva tishtha kalanarahita kriyamdu kurvan akartrapadamethya samodida shri kurvan akartrapadamethya samodida shri. Harihi, Harihi, Harihi. We shall have the conclusional Omkara. Take your mudra for it. Harihi, Harihi, Harihi Om Tats.